A major storm is about to slam the United States this Valentine's Day weekend. We are talking about severe weather with tornadoes, widespread flooding rainfall, and record-breaking heat across the Central Plains. And this is just the beginning of a very active pattern that will dump upwards of 60 to 80 inches of snow in the Sierra Nevada. From Texas to the East Coast, dreary conditions will dominate with heavy rain and severe storms. Oklahoma City, Dallas-Fort Worth, Houston, and New Orleans are all under the gun for damaging winds and tornadoes. This storm could leave tens of thousands without power across Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Meanwhile, a winter heat wave will push temperatures 40 degrees above average as far north as Minnesota and South Dakota. But snow lovers rejoice. California and Oregon are about to get hammered with mountain snow. So, in today's forecast, I'm going to break down exactly what you need to know about all these storms impacting the United States over the next 7 days. Now, we have a lot to talk about. This weather pattern will be vastly different than what we have been dealing with. Right now, we have a big dip in our jet stream over the desert Southwest. This storm will bring severe weather today, tomorrow, and Sunday to Texas, New Mexico, and the Dixie Alley with damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes. The big story will be the ridge behind it bringing another heat wave to the Great Plains. Record-breaking heat begins next week as far north as Minnesota and South Dakota. For those who lived through Winter Storm Fern in late January, that was brutal. At least 111 people tragically lost their lives across 12 states. Tennessee saw 29 fatalities. New York had 15 deaths. Mississippi, Kentucky, and Indiana each had around 10 deaths. Texas lost 9 people, including 3 young brothers who fell through ice. Nashville Electric Service reported their highest outage in history, with 230,000 customers in the dark. Some Mississippi folks are still without power more than 2 weeks later. If you are on medication needing refrigeration, have a cooler and ice packs ready. We saw a Louisiana woman die when her medical device failed during a power outage. In Mississippi, a teacher spent $700 on a hotel because her grandchild needs oxygen and they had no power. However, this high pressure is good news for snow lovers. Next week, our jet stream intensifies across the desert Southwest and northern plains. A large storm will impact California, dumping rain and mountain snow west of the Rockies. This brings moisture and energy over the Rockies into next week. We will see multiple storms impacting the country during the middle and end of next week. Very strong winds aloft will stretch from Arizona into the mid-Atlantic. This powerhouse will bring tons of moisture from the Pacific Ocean, plus the possibility of snow and rain for millions. We are going to have a very large atmospheric river event stretching from the Pacific Ocean into the Northeast. These storms will thrive off all this moisture. We should have at least 2 very big storms next week, but we need to get through this weekend storm first. Speaking of this weekend, we have the return of severe weather for tens of millions. Today, a marginal risk stretches from South Kansas into West Texas, including Oklahoma City and Wichita Falls, where isolated large hail is possible late this afternoon. Tomorrow is more notable. A large marginal threat stretches from western Mississippi into southern Oklahoma. Almost all of central and east Texas is included where damaging winds will be the primary concern. Quarter to half-dollar size hail is possible. Tornadoes are on the table from Dallas, Fort Worth, and Abilene into Houston, central Louisiana, and western Mississippi. I would not be surprised if this risk increases. The main concern is damaging winds. Winter Storm Gianna 2 weeks ago caused over 3,700 flight cancellations. We had a massive 100-car pileup on Interstate 85 near Kannapolis, North Carolina. The National Guard had to help clear vehicles. By Sunday, severe weather will shift to the Gulf Coast with more damaging winds and tornadoes possible. Today will be relatively quiet for most of the lower 48. The main problems will be in the high plains, Texas, and Oklahoma, where widespread rain becomes more of a concern by late tonight. Saturday morning, the storm intensifies into a large area of rain. Plenty of showers and thunderstorms will be ongoing in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas. Saturday afternoon, severe weather increases in southern Arkansas, Louisiana, and East Texas. A line of storms will form with damaging winds, hail, and possibly tornadoes. Rain continues into the Tennessee Valley. By late tomorrow night into early Sunday, localized flooding is a concern in low-lying areas. If traveling this weekend, be very careful. During Winter Storm Fern, over 32,000 flights were canceled. Sunday, January 25th, saw over 11,000 cancellations, the worst day since the pandemic. American Airlines, United Airlines, JetBlue, Southwest, and Delta all offered free waivers. Sunday afternoon, the storm becomes broad, producing mostly rain. Light snowfall is possible over Maryland and West Virginia by Sunday night, maybe a dusting to 1 inch. By late Sunday, early Monday, this storm moves offshore and focus shifts to the west coast. Monday morning, heavy rain falls across California and Oregon. This leads to flooding risk across western California. If you are from San Diego into western Oregon, stay weather aware Monday. Heavy mountain snow continues across the Cascades and Sierra Nevada Monday night into Tuesday. We could see upwards of 60 to 80 inches of snow in the Sierra Nevada. Really crazy stuff. This is great news for the West, which has suffered the worst snowpack in decades. Oregon, Colorado, and Utah all hit record low statewide snowpack. Salt Lake City went 330 days without 1 inch of snow. Grand Junction, Colorado went 442 days. Park City, Utah has a golf course with patchy snow where it should be used for skiing. By Tuesday afternoon, a large storm forms across the Rockies and Northern Plains. This moves into the Northern Plains, producing rain, snow, and very high wind gusts. High winds are expected Tuesday night across most of the northern and central United States. Heavy snow is likely by late Tuesday and early Wednesday. This will not affect Kansas or Missouri. However, if you are in the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, your snowpack is decreasing rapidly. We should have snowpack coming back by midweek. Freezing rain is possible across Wisconsin and Michigan. Ice is a major concern after Winter Storm Fern brought ice accumulation up to 1 inch in Mississippi, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Nashville saw 0.47 inches of ice. Mississippi officials said this was worse than the historic 1994 ice storm, which took 23 days to restore power. Tippah County, Mississippi saw complete grid failure. Blue Ridge Electric Cooperative in rural South Carolina had over 21,000 customers without power. If you have a generator, make sure it is fueled up and you have groceries for a couple days. Heavy snow continues across the upper Midwest and Northern Plains during Wednesday. This could move into the Northeast by Thursday, but things could change. Thursday, another storm comes from all that moisture and energy along the West Coast. This one could be more impactful. By Thursday night and early Friday, models show a storm forming in the Central Plains near Kansas City. This low pressure will likely be strong around 990 to 985 millibars. Heavy snow may be on the table from western New York into Iowa. However, this is still a week out, so confidence is lower. If you are in the Midwest, Great Lakes, or Northeast and want snowfall, this is something I will be watching. The GFS model shows a pretty active weather pattern across the country. It should be a much more active second half of February. Before we talk about record-breaking heat, let me touch on our severe weather setup timing. Today, isolated hailstorms stretch from Oklahoma City towards Midland, Texas, late this afternoon, around 7 in the evening. For the most part, we are talking about hail. Tomorrow morning, storms will be ongoing towards Wichita Falls. Heavy rain stretches up towards Joplin and Springfield. Heavy rain and thunderstorms will be ongoing across Oklahoma City towards Abilene. Not expecting much severe weather until around 2 to 3 in the afternoon tomorrow. That will be along a line near Dallas-Fort Worth down the Interstate 35 corridor towards San Antonio. This continues into the evening as a line of thunderstorms. However, if we get prefrontal supercells, there may be a better chance of an isolated tornado. Definitely stay weather aware as any tornado can be damaging. By tomorrow night, this line tracks east. The overnight threat could be more concerning, with thunderstorms producing scattered damaging winds around 60 to 70 miles per hour. Perhaps some embedded tornadoes during overnight hours into early Sunday morning. This eventually moves into Alabama, southern Mississippi, and New Orleans by Sunday dawn. This storm brings a lot of rain. We are expecting widespread 1 to 3 inches from Dallas-Fort Worth into Nashville, Tennessee. Some localized areas near the Mississippi River Valley pick up closer to 4 to 5 inches. If you are driving on Interstate 40 this weekend, be very careful. Highway 12 on Ocracoke Island in North Carolina was closed during recent storms. North Carolina had 132 accidents with 14 injuries. Virginia saw 289 crashes with 29 injuries during Winter Storm Gianna. This will be a pretty impactful storm, geared towards heavy rainfall and severe storms. And for winter lovers, we might have to fire the groundhog. We are going to have a brutal heat wave impacting the country. We are talking about 60s and 70s for high temperatures by midweek across Des Moines into central Kansas. Many areas running as much as 40 degrees above average. Not good news for those wanting winter weather. However, if you are in the Midwest or Northern Plains, this is great news as we could have significant winter storms during the middle and end of next week. This warmth is the complete opposite of what we saw weeks ago. Miami hit 35 degrees on February 1st, the lowest since January 2010. West Palm Beach had its first freeze since January 2010. Florida saw some of the coldest temperatures in over 15 years, with record lows in Daytona, Orlando, Miami, and West Palm Beach. New York City saw its coldest temperatures in 8 years. Morehead City picked up 22 inches. Elizabeth City got 25 inches with thundersnow and wind gusts over 60 miles per hour, creating 8-foot drifts. Charlotte got 11+ inches. Philadelphia picked up 9.1 inches. Tampa St. Petersburg even saw snow flurries, extremely rare. At least 16 states declared emergencies ahead of Storm Fern. Louisiana, North Carolina, South Carolina, New York, and New Jersey all declared emergencies. Texas declared disaster for over 200 counties. President Trump approved approximately $100 million in federal aid for Tennessee and Mississippi on February 6. 113 warming centers opened across Kentucky. Mississippi deployed up to 500 National Guard members. Texas deployed more than 10,900 responders. Beyond next week, things get more uncertain. The pattern shift should bring relief to the west. Storms are brewing for the West Coast with extreme mountain snow forecasted to provide relief to the worst snow drought in decades. This is desperately needed as Lake Powell expects inflows at approximately 60% of normal, and there is some positive news. Texas crawfish farmers say cold snaps actually help the season. However, drought is worsening in the southern plains, Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas, and Oklahoma. As always, thank you all so much for watching today's forecast. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. There is a chance of a live stream tomorrow or Sunday for severe weather coverage. Make sure to click the bell icon. Keep your phone charged, have flashlights and batteries ready, and stay weather aware. And we will see you in the next video.